Hi guys, Firmbie with you, and welcome to 15-minute makeover in Car Mechanic 2015. Episode 12 in fact, of a 15-minute makeover, and as you can see our garage is actually starting to fill up quite quickly with a number of repairs. So let's get straight into it, straight over to this particular one. And what have we got here? A bolt helcat, holy guacamole. Quite a few repair parts in this bolt helcat. Filters need replacing, louder when accelerating, obviously that's the exhaust system there. 45% is our magic number today, so let's get straight into it and start getting some of those parts out. Quite a few parts, as I said, we need to find, so we'll see how good we go for time on this particular build. I may need to cut out a little bit just for the sake of cutting the time down a little bit, but we'll get a lot of these parts out, and as I said, we'll see how we go. Just getting this rocker cover off now, and see how those rocker covers are looking. Rocker arms, beg your pardon. Yeah, some of them are rooted, some of them are pretty ordinary. We'll see how many of those we actually need to take out. As I said, we may need to take some of these parts out, or find some of these parts off camera, but we'll see how we go for time here. Just popping that radiator out just to get rid of that. It's just 7%, so he's definitely rooted, he'll need replacing. I'll get this fan off, and these belts as well. Water pump pulley coming out. Pretty easy to see the obvious ones that are going to need replacing, so we'll get those easy ones out first, and then see how many we've got left afterwards. Now you'll have to excuse me for a bit, got a bit of a sore throat at the moment, so hopefully I don't start coughing halfway through this recording. We'll see how we go. I'm pretty well dosed up on the old cough medicine at the moment, so if I do start coughing, you'll have to excuse me. I'm not feeling the best, but it's one of those things. There is a bit of a wog going around. Now let's look at these exhaust systems. The rear muffler coming out now, as I said, there's muffler system was pretty well shagged, so most of that exhaust system will need to come out. The exhaust manifold, that's only going to be accessible from the engine bay itself, so we'll have to come back to that one there. The starter motor, he's shagged as well, he'll come straight out, and we'll have to replace him up. He's was 11%. Now don't forget guys, if you do like what you're seeing, don't be afraid to like and subscribe for more content. I do have quite a few pre-recorded, and looking at getting those out to you as soon as I can. Now just don't forget, if you have any questions or suggestions, don't be shy, just whack them down in the comment section below. I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions, or if you like a particular car that you want to see, yeah, just give us a shout out, let me know about that. Holy, look at that, it's bigger than Ben-Hur, and it still can't find most of those parts. Knocking noise from engine bay, that's going to be a tricky one to find. I found all those exhaust sections of course, but we might have to take this cover off here and see what other rocker arms are going to need replacing as well. Yeah, those rocker arms, you can see some of those rocker arms are pretty well, especially this one here. What was it, 25%? Yep. I don't think he's going to repair up that one, so we'll definitely replace a heap of those when we get to the repair table. It's certainly a lot bigger than I first envisaged, actually, this particular one. Parts not discovered, still a shit ton of parts I haven't found yet, so we'll keep diving into the motor and see what we can find. These pesky little push rods. The only thing about this particular motor, they got all these finicky parts. You can take the rocker arm out, and then the push rods as well. So half the time, if the rocker arm is shagged, then the push rod is shagged as well. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if some of these spark plugs, yeah, that's why I first thought that those spark plugs are knackered as well. We'll get those out. Excuse me. Now my throat getting a bit ticklish already. More rocker arms on this side, more push rods on this side. Just getting those out as quickly as I can for you. Parts not discussed, still more parts. Bloody hell. Okay, why won't this engine head come? Oh, okay, I've got to take the intake manifold off first. That makes sense. So getting this engine head off, and we'll have a look at these pistons. Yeah, and as you can see, when they're black like that, generally means that they are going to need repair. So it looks like we're going to have to delve a little bit deeper into this engine and get those pistons out. And as I said, a bit bigger than I had envisaged. To get those pistons out, you're going to have to take the conrod clamps off gearbox and drive shaft, if memory serves me correctly. They won't come out unless you take those parts off first. So yeah, as I said, a bit bigger than I first thought. So what else we got? Still parts not discovered. Jeez. As I was saying, we might have to just fast forward a little bit there, just for the sake of time keeping, and still looking for some more parts that we have yet to discover. Now, I was thinking this crankshaft might need replacing as well. Now, had I actually done a examination report at the start, I would have actually discovered most of these parts. So yeah, a good note to self is perhaps running an examination before you actually start a build. It gives you more of an idea of where these parts are and how far you need to delve into the car to find them, instead of just going in blindly. But you know, we'll live and learn. So that drive shaft coming out now, just so we can get the gearbox out. I wouldn't be surprised there's a number of gearbox parts that are necking in here as well. Clutch release bearing and clutch plate, and that flywheel looks shagged as well. Let's see what that's. Clutch plate off, flywheel 19%. Yep, certainly doesn't meet our 45%. So yeah, he's going to need replacing as well. So we found all the engine faults there. Bit choppy, found that. Flywheel, found that. Change it there, yep. And I think that's about it. Off to our repair table, and I'll come back straight after these repairs are finished. And we're back. Can't English today. All the parts have been repaired, and those that couldn't be repaired have been replaced. Again, just using the tablet, just standing by the car. Usually bring your tablet up just by pressing your T key, and you can order straight from your tablet. Saves you wandering all the way over to the computer to purchase them and wandering all the way back. Save a bit of time when we can. Just getting those gearbox parts put back in. Clutch release and that gearbox straight over the top of that. There's nothing we need to do to that gearbox itself, so it can go back in as is. Brand new starter motor. When we took him out, we discovered that he was completely rooted, so we had to throw him out, buy a brand new one. Drive shaft, he's fine. He can go straight back in as is. Just tightening up those last bolts on that drive shaft. We'll drop the lifter back down, and we can do some more on the engine. In with those brand new pistons. Well, a number of brand new pistons. A couple of them were fine to reuse, but I think I ended up replacing 4, if my memory serves me correctly. So yeah, they're not cheap little critters, so quite an expensive rebuild, this one. I think they're 250 or 350 bucks a piece, so yeah, quite an expensive part of the engine, but that's what the customer wants, that's what the customer gets. In with the engine block, and just tightening those nuts up now. Exhaust manifold. It does look a bit daggy with a brand new exhaust manifold and the exhaust there, but that exhaust part does meet the 45% that we're wanting, so he can stay there. Just putting those spark plugs back in. Some of them are 100%, some of them are the original spark plugs, which will be fine. Excuse me. Ignition distributor and ignition motor on top of that. Not forgetting those clips as well. They're quite easy little things to forget. So as soon as I put the cap on, I like to put those clips straight on so I don't forget the damn things. Timing cover, brand new timing cover. He was also completely knackered. Get him tightened up. Water pump. He's going to be fine, so I get him tightened up fairly quickly as well. He's obviously at 50%, so he's over our 45% prerequisite. So water pump pulley and belts as well, and the fan on top of that. Radiator. I often leave the radiator to reasonably last because it's just a lot easier to get those fan and belts in, water pump and so forth. All those parts at the start, at the front of the engine. Get those in before you put the radiator in, because the radiator often gets in the way. It makes it a little bit harder to get those bolts tightened up. So yeah, just a good idea to leave that radiator until the last there. That's actually a nice looking carby, isn't it? 4-barrel carby in there, brand newy. Just the air filter on top of that. These actually are really nice motors once they're done up to 100%, brand new motors. Nice looking motors. Interesting to get one of these down a quarter mile and see what they pull. We might even actually do that one day. Let's get that exhaust manifold tightened up. Oh dear, excuse me. As I said, no cough medicine's starting to wear off, I think. Anyway, we'll push on. And speaking of pushing, that's push rods going in now. Another one of those fiddly little parts, that's the push rods, and then the rocker arms over the top of those. Sometimes on these particular ones, it's always good to just to zoom in a little bit, and it stops zooming in and zooming out all the time as far. Just not as harsh on the eyes sometimes. Just the last rocker arms going in now. Now we're coming up on the 13-minute mark, so we're trying to rush through these fairly quickly, just on a bit of time constraint at the moment. So that's why I did actually cut out the repair table there. I mean, you've seen me at the repair table before, so just as I said, because we're on time constraints, we'll just cut that out, just edit that out. The push rods going in on this side. Basic little things they are. And of course the rocker arms on each one of those goes over each one of those push rods. Some of those rocker arms aren't fantastic, but still be okay. So we're going to use them. The original rocker arms back in. A couple of them are brand new, but looks like most of them on this side are second hand, but they'll be quite fine. That's the last of the bolts going in for that cover. Alrighty, let's have a look here. What have we got remaining? Crankshaft bearing caps, oil pan, and what else was there? The fuel pump. Oh, that's right. We had to take those crankshaft bearings off. I think you actually got to take those off to get the pistons out, if I'm not mistaken. If anyone can remember that, just chime in the comment section below and let me know. I always do take those crankshaft bearing caps off. Now, whether you actually need to get the pistons out, I just do it by habit these days. But whether you actually need to, remains to be seen. Oil pans in, oil filter. Let's not forget that. The times I've actually forgotten the oil filter. What have we got left? So we need to put some oil in, so we can do that fairly quickly in a moment. find the oil filling port. Where is it? It's on one of these engine covers somewhere. Normally they're at the front. Where are you, little crit? Oh, there he is. Whack some oil in. A lot of people actually put so much oil in and get the dipstick out, have a look at the dipstick, and I myself just fill it up until it overflows. There we go. As you can see, it's got a little graphic there to show it's overflowing, and that means the oil's full. What do we got? That? Yeah, there's always one part. Fuel pump. Now, a lot easier to get to the fuel pump just by clicking on the rear tyre there. As you can see, it just pops straight in, as opposed to trying to get to it when it's up on the hoist. And it looks like we got a full board of green lights. So they all come up to 45%. 42.47 is what we spent. 2121 for completing the task, and 2123 for completing job, which gives a total earned of 8,491. So, thank you very much for your company, guys, and I'll look forward to it next time.